This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/TYT.
Man, Barack Obama was getting hit on every side on Libya, whether it's our allies who are in disagreement, the Arab League who was like, oh yeah, let's hit Libya, let's hit them hard. What? You're dropping bombs on them? I didn't see that coming. And now in this country, of course, conservatives will always attack him no matter what. Newt Gingrich said, he's got to do a no-fly zone right away. As soon as he does a no-fly zone, Newt Gingrich flips over and goes, how dare he do a no-fly zone? That is unacceptable. Okay, and on it goes. And now liberals are also concerned he should have gotten authorization. I think it's a very fair point. But when you go to the substance of whether they should have done the no-fly zone or not, if I was in Congress, would I have voted for it? Given the limited scope of it, yes, I would have agreed to it. It's very ironic because I'm usually very tough on Obama, as people who watch this show know, and I get a lot of heat from progressives, well, not really progressives, but from Democrats for being that way. But it looks like the only guy in the country who's really supporting him fairly wholeheartedly on the substance of this is me. Of course, that's a wild overstatement. I'm sure other people support him on it as well. But there have been a lot of people in the news coming out and saying, I think it's a good policy. Now, look, understand that what I'm saying is, if it is limited, I think it is a good policy. Under no circumstances should there be ground troops. Not just because it won't work, not just because it's costly, not just because I don't want to be in another Arab country, but because it will be counterproductive. It will not help. It will hurt, right? So as long as we don't get sucked into that, if we get sucked into that, I'm out. There's no way I'm in favor of that. Okay? Now, Barack Obama, talking to Univision, said, when asked, are you sure we won't have a ground invasion? He said, absolutely. No chance of a ground invasion. So I'm on board. That makes sense. And look, the whole point of this is knock out their Air Force, knock out some of their tanks, and give the rebels a fighting chance. Okay? And guess what's happened? That's exactly what's happened. Now, it doesn't mean the rebels are going to win. So the developments over the last day are the Libyan air defenses are nearly completely destroyed. Their Air Force is done for the moment being. They are reporting, our allied forces are reporting that not a single plane has gone up in the last 24 hours over Libya. So either it is destroyed or for the moment being totally not in service, because obviously they're not going to put anything up because it gets shot down, right? So now Gaddafi does not have sea power or air power domination that he used to have over the rebel forces. Now he still has some of his tanks, although some have been destroyed. But last night on MSNBC, Richard Engel was reporting from Benghazi, which is the rebel-held city, and he said that what's happening is some of these tanks, in order not to get bombed, are pushing into the cities like Misrata, okay, which is a critical city. It's the third largest city in Libya, and one that they've been fighting over, one that Gaddafi looked like he was on the verge of winning before the no-fly zone was put into effect. So they push into the city not to get bombed, but once they're in the city, they're surrounded because the city's held by rebels. And there are rebels outside of the city coming in to support from other cities. So it's only a matter of time before those tanks run out of ammunition or fuel or both. So we'll see how that develops. But right now it looks like a lot of Gaddafi's forces, although they're still firing away now and they're sniping on rooftops in Misrata, there's still fighting going on in many of the other large cities in Libya. But at this, so it's not like Gaddafi's done and out, not even close to this point. But you can see how he has both been severely curtailed and might be in significant trouble down the road as he's trapped in some of these cities, or his forces are. Now, of course, the other concern, and what the president mentioned yesterday was, look, we're not just fighting him through military power, we're freezing his assets. And without money, you can't win, right? And so he's going to start running out of money to pay those mercenaries. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is saying that there are some reports that the inner circle of Gaddafi are looking for a way out. Now, again, we don't know if those reports are true, but it's interesting that they're beginning to come out. Again, it doesn't mean that Gaddafi's definitely going to lose. And by the way, we should make very clear, if Gaddafi steps down, and we did that through this limited air campaign, it's a massive win for Barack Obama. Will he get credit for it? My guess is no way. The Republicans say, he did it too little, he did it too late, he did it this, he did it that, I could have gotten rid of Gaddafi better, etc., right? But there's no way arguing that it would be a massive win if Gaddafi left, especially if it happened fairly soon, right? Or lost fairly soon. Now, of course, there are many other scenarios, but I don't think those other scenarios are necessary losses. If it turns out we provide this air cover for the rebels for whatever period of time, and it's a very fair question, what period of time, that needs to get answered. We don't, is it a success if we do it for 6 weeks, 6 months? I don't know. I know it's not a success if we're doing it for 6 years. Then we screwed up, okay? So, but if over some stretch of time we provide air cover and it doesn't work, Gaddafi ultimately crushes the rebels anyway with his ground forces and with his spies and with his snipers, etc., and regains control of the country, well, we tried. And everybody will chalk that up as a loss, but I won't. I think that, you know what? We gave them a fighting chance, and that's the best we could have done under this scenario. And if they don't win, then they don't win. But I know I'm not sending in ground troops because I know it's going to be counterproductive. So having said that, I very much believe that the president is on the right path.
Audible.com is the leading provider of audiobooks.
In fact, they have over 75,000 titles.
And you can listen on your iPod or your MP3 player. You can listen to it anywhere at any time. It's incredibly convenient.
And they have books in every single genre imaginable. You can get a free audiobook if you go to audiblepodcast.com/TYT.
Totally true.